Donald Trump, an investor, businessman, and the current President of the United States, is a person who has significantly influenced the cryptocurrency market in recent months. Crypto Explain: everything you need to know to stay safe. Not long ago, in 2019, he expressed a rather strong negative opinion about cryptocurrencies, stating that they are not money and have highly volatile value based on thin air. Most of his voters likely expected this policy to continue, but when the election campaign began, in which he sought to become the head of the United States for a second time, much changed in his approach. Already during the 2024 presidential campaign, Trump began promoting cryptocurrencies, promising to make the USA the crypto capital of the world and announcing the creation of a national Bitcoin reserve. The narrative was so positive that in September, even before winning the election, he announced the creation of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, with Elon Musk, an active figure playing a major role in his circle, and someone strongly connected to blockchain appointed as co-chair. Information about the new department also appeared on the official White House website. In January 2025, after reassuming the office of president, Trump organized the first-ever White House Digital Asset Summit, where he announced plans to create a national cryptocurrency reserve and simultaneously established the previously announced DOGE department. The official goal of all these actions was the desire to revolutionize finance in the United States and take the lead in the digital race against China. An interesting fact is that these were among the first decisions we didn't have to wait long for. Admittedly, the newly elected president got straight to work right after taking office, which caused the entire market to react enthusiastically. Every crypto enthusiast was watching a series of long green candles, counting profits, and each new positive piece of information especially impacted Bitcoin and the memecoin DOGE, which most of you surely know, mainly because the department's acronym coincided with the name of the cryptocurrency, which certainly wasn't a coincidence. Another significant event took place on January 17, 2025, when Trump launched his own memecoin called Trumps, featuring his image and the slogan, "Fight, fight, fight." The price skyrocketed after launch to a cosmic level of around $70 per token, placing the fresh memecoin among the top 50 largest cryptocurrencies. Many people took advantage of the opportunity, generating huge profits, while even more experienced major losses due to purchasing an overvalued coin with an uncertain future. This was also the moment when much more began to be said about Donald's play with the market. More and more investors started to notice how effectively he could influence crypto asset valuations due to his position and his massive reach, especially on Platform X, where over 105 million people follow him. This is the first time in history that so many actions, coincidences, and decisions have aligned toward a single goal. In February, Musk proposed integrating the US Department of the Treasury with blockchain technology, aiming to improve transparency, tracking, and accountability of government spending, something unthinkable just a year or two ago. The next step came in March 2025, when an executive order was signed to create the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve and the National Digital Asset Backup Fund, which included Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. Note that all the information I'm showing you on the screen comes from the most trusted sources, major marketing agencies and magazines that have been associated with business and economics for decades. These are places visited by tens of millions of people each year and read with much greater trust by serious individuals. This is the essence of the current buzz surrounding interest in cryptocurrencies. All previous bull runs were relatively limited in scope when it came to reaching new audiences who might become interested in crypto. But Trump changed that. Just 2 months later, in May 2025, Trump Media and Technology Group announced a plan to raise $2.5 billion to purchase Bitcoin, creating a Bitcoin piggy bank. In the same month, the Trump family invested in the company American Bitcoin, planning to build the world's largest Bitcoin mining facility in cooperation with the company Hut-8. Meanwhile, the cryptocurrency launched in January was experiencing a steady decline in value week after week. The first voices of dissatisfaction and sharp criticism began to emerge, especially since the president's wife, Melania, also launched her own token, However, it did not gain nearly as much attention and was considered a failed idea from the very beginning by everyone except, presumably, Melania herself, who generated a considerable profit due to the amount she held. Amidst growing criticism and controversy surrounding the tokens, on May 22, 2025, Trump organized a dinner at the White House for the 220 largest holders of the Trump token. This had the opposite effect than intended, sparking controversy and accusations of selling access to the president. Over time, the situation gradually calmed down. In the meantime, information continues to emerge about Bitcoin purchases being carried out by major corporations, large investors, and government institutions, which builds a compelling narrative for a strong, bullish scenario. For that same reason, I believe this bull run is coming to an end. The more of this type of news appears on television and the internet, the higher the chance that it might already be too late. Of course, this is not investment advice. I'm simply sharing my experiences based on observations from the last 3 bull cycles. Naturally, my words won't cause the price of Bitcoin to start dropping the moment you finish watching this video. What I mean is that, very often in scenarios like this, the so-called street, meaning regular people, as they are referred to by the wealthy, buy Bitcoin because of the overwhelming amount of positive news about it. And who are they buying it from? Exactly, those wealthy individuals who already made their profits by buying at 50 or 60,000 and are now quietly selling to those reading all this news. Why am I saying this? Because the best time to buy is when prices are low and no one is talking about investing. That's when you increase your chances of making relatively good purchases. At this moment, I personally don't see such an opportunity. Finally, to sum up, all of Trump's actions, whether consciously or not, caused the value of Bitcoin to rise by several dozen %, reaching a price of $110,000. Of course, many other factors contributed to this, but it is worth noting that he had a very noticeable impact on the entire market, both the cryptocurrency and the traditional stock market. Experts and politicians have expressed concerns about potential conflicts of interest arising from Trump and his family's involvement in cryptocurrency projects, as they believe that someone engaged in politics should not be involved to such an extent and in such a way in matters related to the market. Whether this was a planned effort to generate the highest possible profits or just a coincidence, that's for each of you to decide based on your own beliefs. If you still don't fully understand how all of this works, I invite you to check out my course Cryptocurrency for Beginners, which you can find on the Udemy platform. Browse the list of topics covered and see which one will help you on your crypto journey. Good luck!